One of the things you may be asking yourself if you watch my blog is how I get so many people to come on and get interviewed on a variety of topics. Well, that's what I plan to discuss on today's Angel Dodger. So if you're in my position and you want to get interviews for a blog or whatnot, hopefully these tips will help you out.
I spent my life pushing myself to be the strongest, and now I learn there's a power level I'll never reach on my own. And I hate that.
So you're a no-name journalist or blogger and you want to learn how to get interviews. The first thing you need to understand is that nobody gives a shit about you. I'm not just talking about the activists and celebrities that you'll be reaching out to. I'm talking about your friends as well. Most of your interactions are going to go like this. Hi, I'm Angel Dodger and I interview people. I see that you like cats. Will you come onto my blog to talk about kitties? I like kitties. They didn't respond. Let me ask someone else. Okay, so they didn't respond either. Maybe I should ask a couple more. Sure, I'd love to talk about kittens. Finally, okay, so when are you available to do the interview? Are you still interested? Sorry, really busy with work. I'll get back to you as soon as I'm available. Unfortunately, I could sit here all day and give you examples of people that have done this to me, and some of these people are supposed to be my friends, but that's not really the point of showing you this. The point is to tell you why this is going to happen to you. We live in a give and take society, so the difference between you and somebody that's more established, such as like Howard Stern or a late night talk show, is that they have an audience, which is what usually interviewers give to interviewees. If you don't have that, then you're pretty much useless to them. That doesn't mean that people who are established interviewers or journalists don't get treated like shit by interviewees, but they're more likely to get the interview itself, which is what counts. It's a fucked up world. But back to the point of this episode. How do you get interviews for your blog? How do you break through those barriers? My first suggestion would be to build a portfolio of work up with people that you know. And the reason why I say that is because it's going to be hard enough as it is to get people to want to come on to your blog, but it's going to be even harder if you don't have a body of work. You send out an email to somebody that you don't know if they're going to respond, and they don't know who you are, but now they, in addition to not knowing who you are, don't know how you edit your work, don't know why you're doing this, don't know if you're even a real person. So that's just an extra strike against you in terms of getting people on. You're essentially a ghost to them. This is also a great way to gain experience. It may be hard for you at first to ask questions on camera, and professional people aren't going to want to have to deal with your jitters or whatnot, but you can get past those jitters by practicing with people that you know who won't mind having their time wasted as much, and you can build up your experience of being on camera and conducting quality interviews so that by the time you get somebody who actually has a following or is more famous to come on, you're ready to give them a quality interview that people want to watch. My second suggestion would be to go to YouTube to check for bloggers who cover similar topics to your own. You can also check out channel pages where you can post ideas for collaborating, or you can look for people who are trying to collaborate, and if you like their idea, show interest, or just Google topics and see if there are any bloggers or activists who want to talk about those topics on their own, and ask them if they want to collaborate on the issue. This is also a good way to promote your own work. If you collaborate with them, you promote their work, and you can be on their channel and promote your work there, so you can boost your audience that way. In terms of doing the interviews, I suggest using Skype, and the reason why is because shooting outside in and of itself is a hassle. You have to deal with wind, you have to deal with other outside factors, and if you don't have a mic, which you probably don't, it's going to be a pain in the ass to deal with outside weather. Also, it's an extra reason why people won't take you seriously or will just drive you nuts, because if you have to meet at a certain location rather than doing a Skype interview where you're home and they're home, They're going to take their sweet time, most likely, to meet you. You know, they're going to drag on the actual interview being done, and you know, you don't need to deal with that. Your time is precious. So, you know, take away any reason why it would make it harder for them to do the interview by doing it via Skype. They stay at home, like I said before, and you stay at home. Just make sure that you have a really good internet connection, because Skype, apparently, you know, you need to have full bars to get a decent screen on the person that you're interviewing, and nobody wants to see a choppy interview screen. As you can see in more and more recent episodes of Angel Dodger, I've had problems with that. But I highly recommend Skype. It really takes a lot of stress out of the way in terms of getting better interviews and not having to deal with the hassle of meeting people. And if you're wondering how to, you know, record a Skype interview, just use a screen recorder. I'm sure there's a bunch of them that you can download online for free, and just record your computer screen, and you'll be good to go with the interview. My final suggestion is geared towards more of the established people, or the people that have a bigger name attached to them. And surprisingly enough, compensation isn't the route that I would suggest going in terms of getting those people on. Building a portfolio is important. Having somewhat of, you know, a goal in mind is all important. But the key factor for me in terms of getting more established people to come on, or activists to come on, was the personalization that I put in the letters that I sent out when I inquired for an interview. At first, I targeted people that were already passionate about a subject that I wanted to talk about. And I saw them posting these things on social media, these topics that is, or doing interviews about this already for other bloggers or other journalists. And I put that in my email to show not only was I following what they were doing, but I knew that they were passionate about the topic, and I knew that they had experience in doing this before. So it minimized the idea of me just being some random guy who's just hitting them up because they're just taking pot shots. It's kind of like really a job search. You know, that's what cover letters are for. It's to show personal interest. I'm not some resume just throwing, you know, my resume out just to places just to see if they stick. I'm clearly interested in this specific job, and I want to show how my qualifications match that job. It's the same thing here. I see what you're doing. I see it working with what I'm doing. And although I have less of an audience to show you, I find your particular view on the issue very fascinating, and it would be a pleasure to speak with you on this issue. Something like that. Because it makes them feel good. It makes them feel as though people are paying attention to what they have to say. And it's a better chance of getting a response. Whether or not you get interviews in general is a lot of trial and error, to be honest. I'm just giving you ideas to kind of increase your odds a little bit, but it's an uphill climb. You're going to have a lot of people that, where you do all the right things, are still not even going to give you a response, and are still going to waste your time and lead you nowhere. But that's kind of the whole process until you establish yourself at the very least. You got to be willing to go through this in order to get ahead. In some cases, I've had to send emails to about 30 to 50 people to get 3 responses, and only one of them actually doing the interview. And I'm not exaggerating. So that's pretty much it. That's how I get this blog done. You know, it sucks sometimes, and that's why I don't post as much as I used to, because I can't deal with people just driving me nuts. But this is how I've gotten it done over the past 4.5 years on and off. And this is episode 70, so clearly I'm doing something right in terms of getting people on. If you came onto this video looking for advice, I hope it helped. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, you can check out my most recent episode over here, which discusses men's rights and a dash of feminism. It's the second part of a 2-part miniseries on men's rights. If you like that video or this video or any of my videos, you can also just go ahead and subscribe. Or you can just not, but you probably should.